What's up, visionary? I am Clee Davis, your vision actualization mentor. And if it's your first time listening to the podcast, this show is designed to help you break down any barriers keeping you from building the vision you have for your life. And today, we're going to dive into another informative and inspirational vision story. Our guest on the show today is a sports commentator, a broadcaster, consultant for the Baltimore Orioles, the co-founder of the nonprofit The Beautiful Lives Project. And he's just a pure definition of a visionary. And the crazy thing is, he has accomplished all these things while being blind. Yeah, our guest on the show today is Bryce Weiler, and he's helping other young people across the nation with disabilities live the life of their dreams through the Beautiful Lives Project. And Bryce shares with us his vision story today and shares how he built his vision despite the odds being stacked against him. So next, our visionary profile, please.
Visionary profile. Bryce Weiler. Hometown, Claremont, Illinois. Occupation, sports disability consultant. Co-founder of the Beautiful Lives Project. Billboard quote: "Don't let barriers and stereotypes stand in your way." If you want more visionary value, subscribe to the show. Enjoy!
The Beautiful Lives Project, we work to enhance the lives of individuals of all disabilities to help them live their dreams in a wide range of platforms across the country and programs where they can play on the field with sports teams, high school teams, college teams, professional teams, or the court. It could be football, baseball, basketball, softball, various events such as that. We also do programs where people of all disabilities can perform with a cheerleading team or a dance team. So doing a cheer or dance during a sporting event or at halftime. We do art events where people of all disabilities can learn how to do art, painting, sculpture, quilting events. We have on-stage events where people of all disabilities can learn how to do music, sing with a choir. And then we have nature events where people of all disabilities can experience nature, go to zoos, go to nature walks, nature trails. Those are our types of categories. Wow.
That's really, really, really great. And extensive too. This sounds like a pretty big project and organization. Like you're going to clearly have to have multiple people involved, right?
We have 12 staff members right now. We have chapter presidents who run events and programs all across the country. We have chapters in Dallas, San Diego / Los Angeles, Hartford, Chicago, a whole myriad of places across the country, and we're always looking for new chapter presidents, so we'll get to how someone can sign up for that before we finish here.
Cool. So can you explain a little bit what you do with the disability consultancy?
I only come to Maryland when I do my disability consultant work for the Baltimore baseball team. Orioles. So I've been their disability consultant since June of 2016. I've done various interesting programs. I've given fans of all disabilities the opportunity to play on the field with players and coaches at Camden Yards. That was before 2 home games during the 2019 season in September of 2019. And also I've helped Baltimore become the first team in baseball or in sports to wear Braille on their jerseys to honor people who are blind and to show the importance of people who are blind learning how to read Braille. And that happened during a September 2018 Orioles home game against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow, that is incredible. And when I think about all this stuff that you've accomplished, and I saw that you said you're based in Indiana. Did you go to school in Indiana as well, or in Illinois?
I did go to college in Indiana at the University of Evansville, where the former Aces head men's basketball coach Marty Simmons gave me the opportunity to sit on his Evansville men's basketball bench, which really allowed me the opportunity to be around sports and to live my dream of being a part of a sports team. And furthermore, when I was at Evansville, I also learned how to be a blind sports broadcaster on the radio, and I've commentated over 150 sporting events on the radio in minor league baseball, college basketball, college softball, as well as college soccer.
Wow. Now, I'm always very candid on this show, and I just ask what I think. How does that work? As a blind person, how do you commentate on sports?
Someone does the play-by-play of the game happening on the court or the field, and then I am the second radio broadcaster, and I talk about what is happening. I read facts on the players and coaches. I try to interview both teams' head coaches before the game or the match, and speak with players from both teams as well.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow, that is really cool. And you kind of touched on something that I wanted to get into a little bit. You talked about what you did with the Evansville basketball team and your love for sports. Where did this all start? We see where you are now. We see what you accomplished now. When did this start? Like, did you always want to be in sports? Did you always want to be an advocate? How did this begin for you?
I started listening to sports when I was younger, listening to St. Louis Cardinals baseball on the radio, as well as Fighting Illini football and basketball, and Indiana Hoosiers football and basketball. And it was really those three things that got me interested in sports. When I was younger, I thought about maybe teaching students how to do things. History was actually what I was interested in teaching when I was younger. But as I thought about that, I just thought there were several problems with me being a blind history teacher. Not that I couldn't do it, just how would I really know if students were actually paying attention to me? And sometimes grading the work might be hard because if they didn't type it and send it to me, I wouldn't be able to grade it if they wrote it by hand. So I was glad that I figured out that wasn't something that I should probably go into. I thought sports would actually be a lot easier for me to find a job, but it was a lot harder when I was finishing up college because so many jobs were social media and graphics and things that I cannot do well because I cannot see. So I really had to create my own jobs and work and use what I'd learned in my life and in my time in college to help people to live their dreams.
Yeah. And what did that process kind of look like? Could you give us kind of some details on like how you went about finding a job and any obstacles that you faced trying to do that?
I went about finding jobs in sports by contacting presidents of sports teams, owners, coaches, things like that. So I'd figure out, say, the Pittsburgh Pirates format, and I would send messages to the former manager, Clint Hartle, who I'm good friends with, who has a daughter, Madison, who has special needs, and I've enjoyed being friends with him. And then how I got Baltimore was I just emailed all their owners and staff. So I emailed Peter, who's their owner, and then John Angelos, who is his son. And I told John how sitting on Evansville's bench had changed my life and how I wanted to give back to individuals of all disabilities to help them live their dreams and furthermore to work to make sports stadiums more accessible. And John was kind enough to give me that opportunity. He's really changed my life by giving me that opportunity, and also individuals of all disabilities across the country, because he's really showed that his Baltimore team cares about winning games, but more importantly, cares about the person as a whole.
And like, I hear that you're reaching out to people and doing all these things, which is like the first step in like being really like proactive and getting what you want in life. But like, what type of mindset do you think you have to have in order to do these things? I mean, in a world that's not necessarily catered to what you need, or sometimes people might say you can't do something because of your situation. Like, what type of mindset do you have to have going into this, trying to build your vision out?
One of the challenges that I had when I first started trying to fill out jobs the typical way, internet, was that I would go along through the hiring process and I'd have phone interviews or a Skype interview or an in-person interview. It normally never got to the in-person interview because at some point down the line, they'd type my name into Google and they'd find out that I was blind. And then I would suddenly just disappear off of their screen for that possible job. They just wouldn't email me or call me back anymore. So I realized that I couldn't not hide the fact anymore that I was blind. Not that I was trying to hide it. I just wouldn't mention it when I was putting in for a job, doing my cover letter, things like that. So then I just started telling everyone that I was blind in about the second or third sentence. And so I just really use that to help me show people how I can help others overcome obstacles and challenges, how I can make buildings more accessible, make stadiums more accessible, help companies or sports teams to hire individuals of all disabilities for jobs. I can help teams or companies to make sure that every job is accessible for individuals of all disabilities. Challenges would be teams or companies not really thinking that they need me because there aren't many laws that govern these types of programs. I would say that's probably the major one is sports teams or companies not really thinking that they need me and not really seeing how these types of programs can provide value to their customer base.
Yeah, wow. And that what was apparent to me when you said that is that you turned something that could have been a disadvantage for you kind of into an advantage and leverage for you, saying, look, I have this special expertise that I can offer you. I have this certain area that is in your audience that you need to target, and I can do that for you. So it's kind of cool how you kind of flip that, I guess.
Well, I thought that was what I need to do to be successful because people were finding out already that I was blind, so I might as well tell them from the start and just try to use it in the best way that I can. And I think it's worked out really well for me. That's how I also was able to become the co-founder of the by contacting sports teams on the East Coast. It's how I became friends with the New Britain Bees owner Anthony Icavone, who gave me the opportunity to be the co-founder of our nonprofit, the Beautiful Lives Project.
And I'm backtracking a little bit, but what made you decide to go to Evansville, or even before that? I mean, coming up in school, like, what were your goals and ambitions back then?
I went to college there because the former Evansville coach, Marty Simmons, the former basketball coach, gave me that opportunity to sit on the men's basketball bench. Evansville also, at that point in time, had a really good sports management program and a sports broadcasting program. So I thought the combination of all of those things would lead me down roads that I wanted to follow and try to find a job working in sports. I do wish that the staff at the college could have been more honest with me about how hard it would be for me to find a job working in sports. They made it seem like it was really easy, and it wasn't. I mean, I don't know if I would have picked to major in something different had I known how hard it was going to be and how they couldn't really help me find a job because they didn't know sports people. So that is one thing that I wish would have been different. I don't really know if I would have majored in something else, but I would have liked knowing the truth when I got started in college.
That's wonderful. Did you play sports when you were younger as well? Or
I
even
did
now?
not play any sports. I would swim when I was younger. We have a nice pool out in our backyard with a water slide. So I did that when I was in college. At Evansville, I would shoot free throws before Aces home games, or I'd shoot free throws or three-pointers in their practice gym. But that's really about the extent of my sports. When people always ask me, why didn't I play goalball or even beat baseball, which is the blind form of baseball or softball for individuals who are blind. And I really enjoyed those sports. I played them when I was younger at a blind school. But those sports can be really dangerous, and people can easily get injured. And I've had many surgeries on my eyes so that maybe I can be able to see at some point in my life. And I would really hate to have that messed up by playing a sport such as that. So I really got my love and my passion through doing things in sports, through giving back to others and helping them live their dreams, and also commentating games on the radio and giving back and talking about the lives of the players and coaches, and really bringing those lives back to the fans who might be listening on the radio, and showing how both the lives of the student athletes, the coaches, and the fans can all come together.
Yeah. And what's your favorite story so far from what you've built with the Beautiful Lives Project?
I would say every time we're able to help any individual with any disability to live their dream. Last year, we helped over 3,000 people of all disabilities to live their dreams in our number of categories that I told you about before: sports, nature, cheerleading, dance, music. And that's really great, because people always ask me, what's my favorite one single story? And every story is just as important as any other story. I don't think you can single out one over another. There are certainly some that I think of more. Like sometimes we'll have people come to a sports event or even to one of the cheerleading events, and they are nervous about playing on the field or getting up and practicing the cheer with the cheerleading team. And by the end, or 15 to 20 minutes later, they're out there playing on the field, or they're doing the cheer with the cheerleaders. And those are really important, because it really shows the individuals from both sides that they can come together as a cohesive group, and they can create friendships and bonds that can last for a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. It's just great to see the impact and service that you're providing in the world, in a place where people need that, especially in the times that we're living in now, where everyone is kind of dealing with something, and just being able to see that service come to fruition and see people really achieve their dreams and see the smile on their face and see them come out of their shell. I could just envision it now. And I just think that's really admirable.
Everyone has to overcome obstacles and challenges in their life, and we want to try to help them to do that and to live their dreams. That's the whole point of the work we do every day. And people can look at our website and see all the work we're doing, look at our staff members under the Who We Are tab, and our website is www.beautifullives.org, beautifullives.org.
Cool. And I like to ask these two questions to every guest I have on the show, because it's always interesting hearing what they have to say. So the first one is, if you had a time machine and you could go back in time and tell your younger self something, what would you say?
I would tell myself to try harder when I was younger, when I was in high school. I didn't always try the hardest in math or in other subjects, but when I got to college, I really fixed that. So, I mean, it didn't really hurt me in the end, because I figured out how important it was in college to get A's or to get the best grade that you can in every subject.
Okay, yeah, so try harder, yeah. And I'm just curious, like, what did that look like for you as far as high school, with going to school and doing things probably a little bit differently than everyone else?
When I was in high school, I was at a special school for the blind, and that was really a good place for me. I was able to learn how to use my cane, how to cross streets with 8 lanes of traffic, or learn how to use my cane better, I should say. I've been using a cane since I was 5 years old. I also learned how to better use my laptop, using my screen reading program JAWS to do Excel and PowerPoint, and all those skills were really useful when I went off into college, where I had to type every paper so that the instructors could grade my work. I couldn't handwrite anything because I don't know how to write. I mean, I can make a B and a W to represent my first name and my last name, but that's about all the letters in the alphabet that I know how to write.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So they taught you like lots of the things that you would need to be able to kind of do what you're doing now, is thriving in the world.
They also taught us cooking skills, and it was really a great place. The Indiana School for the Blind in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Wow. Okay. That's really cool. So the second thing I would want to know is, let's say you had a billboard, and it's say like it's major on a major highway or something, and everyone that passes it sees this huge billboard, and it's sponsored by you, Bryce. What will be the quote or the phrase that you will want everyone that passes that billboard of yours to see?
Don't let barriers and stereotypes stand in your way, and always work your hardest to live your dreams and try to help others to live their dreams as well.
I love it. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good soundbite right there that I'm going to use. So
Yeah.
I do want to know what this is, of course, the Build Your Vision podcast. You've kind of explained how you've gotten to the vision that you have for yourself right now. What does the future vision look like for you?
I hope to do more of the same of what I'm doing. helping get more Beautiful Lives chapters started across the country. And if there's anyone who'd like to start a chapter or learn how to do that or help us through fundraising or investing in smiles, they can email, call me, or text me. My email is bryce@beautifullives.org, BRYCE@beautifullives.org. And my phone number, which they can call me or text me on, is 812-899-5673, 812-899-5673. I would also really like to find some companies who wanted to hire individuals of all groups, blindness or in a wheelchair, having autism, whatever group it might be, to find employment at their company and to be able to live their dreams of working at a high-paying, high-level job, because there are so many people out there in this world who are capable of that, and they're just not given a chance because they have some differences that are different than everyone else, and people see those as something that is really something that can break hiring someone, and it should not be the case.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Wow. Okay, that sounds like a great vision. I hope you have the utmost success in achieving those things, and hopefully somebody else can reach out to you and get started with something from just hearing what your story has been and your message.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. That would be fantastic if some of your individuals who are listening to this podcast would reach out and contact me, and we can work together to break down barriers and stereotypes and to help people of all disabilities to live their dreams.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Bryce Weiler. His story goes to show that your vision is possible to accomplish no matter what. You use what God has given you and you put in the work to get the rest. Bottom line. If you were inspired by this episode, show some appreciation by leaving a rating and review on iTunes, please. Thank you very much. And if you really want to show some love, take a screenshot of you listening to the show today and put it on your Instagram and tag @BuildYourVisionPod on Instagram. Or you could tag my personal account, Clee the Visionary. All right, guys, I will talk to you next time. Until then, keep building your vision every day. Peace.
Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.